Hello, you are listening to the Gamer Librarian Podcast, the best podcast you can find on this side of the multiverse. I am your host, Adrian, and today I will be talking about the Nintendo Switch 2 announcement and more. Afterwards, be sure to subscribe to be notified when future episodes are released and show your support by liking and leaving a comment. Thank you for joining. Hello, everyone. We are back for episode 68 of the Gamer Librarian podcast. And earlier this week, sadly, the director David Lynch passed away. That's very sad, very tragic. Now, I could say that I've only ever seen one of his films, Eraserhead, and I really enjoyed that. A roommate of mine showed it to me in college, and I really enjoyed it. It's been a long time since I've seen it. So eventually in the future, I want to go and watch that movie again. And there seems to be like maybe some kind of short anthology series with it, which seems fun. And some of his other stuff. I haven't gotten a chance to watch a lot of his other movies. So sometime between now and the future, I'm going to try and do a David Lynch marathon and just, experience some more of his films. We're not going to do too many, maybe like three or four besides Eraserhead and see where that goes. So rest in peace, David Lynch. And in other news, personally, I've been making more ice cream, obviously. I've been trying to do one ice cream flavor a week, and I've been doing maybe three a week now. Um, the ones I made recently were Dr. Pepper cream soda, which it didn't have like the same kind of soda-y flavor that I wanted, like you get from like maybe like soda candy, kinda, or even just soda in general, but it did kind of still taste like it. But it was overall pretty good. Creamsicle, I'm having a hard time getting the orange and the vanilla balance together. Also the consistency, like it being a little too hard. And we just made blackberry, that was really good, pretty tart. I really enjoy it. I think the next one that I'm going to do will be blueberry. I've been really interested in blueberry flavored stuff recently, so blueberry ice cream is obviously just the next up. And that's pretty much it for, personal stuff that's, just that was new with me. But the Switch 2 was announced, right? Now this is very personal to me, right? I'm a big Nintendo fan. I don't think Nintendo does a lot of things right in terms of their fan base and the people that buy their products. But overall, I think they put out some really fun and enjoyable video games. And even their consoles have been wacky and weird in the past. I think that they're truly innovative in fun ways rather than just ways that maybe keep the video game industry, back or really just make it a place where it's just not, needed. The ever since the Wii, right, the Nintendo Wii, their idea with like the controllers, I mean the controllers are like the N64 are weird, but their controllers and the way you were playing games was just different. And now because of that, change and innovation, the game industry is better for it, right? I think that their motion control stuff had really evolved. It allowed the other companies to get that into their controllers as well. And consequently, the Wii U, with its tablet being the bridge from console hardware to handheld hardware, right? It didn't necessarily sell well, and the games on it were a little bit lackluster. I would say a lot of the games on there were pretty good, mostly the first party games, but even some third party stuff was on there that I didn't play, but I know that are, pretty beloved and are still played to this day. That those games are brought to the Switch, and they're definitely still beloved, and they're pretty good. And then obviously the Switch comes out and it's just a better mobile version of their console, and it's the most innovative console at the time. The Steam Deck, I think, came out maybe 2020, 2021, sometime around then. And this is where I think the Switch 2 really needs to just define itself as a good piece of hardware rather than like the next pushing or innovative or weird, wacky Nintendo hardware. I think them just doing a classic Nintendo Switch 2 sequel is great, right? We're not going like the Nintendo Series Y or the anything weird or wacky like that. It's just not needed because I think that it just should be an upgraded version of the system. It shouldn't need anything like bells and whistles or anything that's odd. It should play the games and play them in ways that make them better. Just better. Just making the games themselves better, but also the experience of playing and using the hardware should be better. I hope that the UI, whatever they use at their base UI for the system, and their internal stuff is just better and upgraded. I think all that's gonna be great. Obviously, I would like a bigger battery and storage space, the front facing stuff. But I think giving it hardware that allows larger games to be on there, especially when you're considering a lot of the third party games. Like we, I think it was a big shock that like they had the Elder Scrolls um Skyrim, right? That was called Five on the Switch. That game's massive. And then we get games like Doom Eternal and all these kind of awesome big party games. I would love to see games like Sparking Zero on the Switch if it's not on there already. A lot of other fighting games and just the Call of Duties are always like big things that people believe are going to be on there. I would love to see that as well. Just more games on that console is better. This should just be Nintendo's Steam Deck. I think that the first party stuff matters as well, but third party is kind of the long lasting reason to play the games, right? Because Nintendo sparingly puts out games now. Their own first party stuff, it's maybe like two to three or so a year. I mean, Pokemon's every, once every few years. There might be a spin-off in between then. Um, we're getting a Mario Kart game. The Mario Kart 9 should be a launch title. That's going to be awesome. And I would hope for a new Smash. I would think maybe a Smash Ultimate 2 is just a port of Smash Ultimate and then just add more things. They don't need to make a new game. I think that's crazy. That's actually pretty wild. Um, and I think they're never gonna innovate on Pokemon. That's never gonna happen. That will never happen. Pokemon, the main series, will never get innovation. Metroid Prime 4. We haven't seen necessarily a lot of it since I think 2 years. So I think it's up in the air that it's going to be on the Switch, the first game, but I think it's definitive going to be on the Switch too, obviously. But it's their bridging game, kind of like the Twilight Princess was for the GameCube and the Wii, and then Skyward Sword was for the Wii and the Wii U in that kind of same way. Obviously, like Breath of the Wild from the Wii U to the Switch and all that kind of stuff. So backwards compatibility is a very big thing, and there's a lot of titles that are pretty big just on the Switch, their main stuff. But I think a lot of their third-party games, stuff that's multi-platform, is maybe not going to be backwards compatible at launch initially. Obviously, the games got to be updated to be able to play on this new hardware and stuff. All that just takes money and time and stuff. But hopefully, maybe the Switch 2 comes out this year. That's probably what they're going for, will be this year release. And we're going to find out more on the 2nd of April, which is pretty awesome. I'm hoping for maybe more specific stuff is like on the hardware specifically, just maybe like the Joy-Cons. I think the Joy-Cons, they need to talk about it being better. Obviously, I have Switches with, the Joy-Cons are just broken and I don't buy new Joy-Cons. I just use the regular controllers because it's just better. And my sister gave me her the smaller mini Switch, which has pretty good uh joysticks on them. So I haven't used it yet, but now I'm just gonna wait for the Switch 2, because all my games are on the Switch, and I'm just gonna play the Switch 2. There's not really any Switch games I'm really dying to play right now, and it's just, you know. So the Switch 2 is pretty big to be announced here. I definitely think that it's not something that is, industry changing specifically, not like the initial Switch announcement. I don't think it's the same thing. It just needs to be a better version of the hardware, and I think that obviously Nintendo needs to put more effort into some of their games, Pokemon specifically. But obviously Mario Kart 9 looks pretty good from what we saw. That it's obviously not, fully complete gameplay, but it's definitely like concept, whatever. And they, are forgetting a lot of properties for the most part that I think need to be revised. But this console announcement definitely solidifies that Nintendo's not going to be putting out their games on like any other hardware, and they're probably going to even try to crack down even more on their games being on emulators and ROMs and just on the internet. They're really going to try to crack down on that probably because the Switch 2 will probably just be able to handle those older games better and their older catalog, like maybe the GameCube and the Wii games, and that way they could just, stop those ROMs because that's probably what's going to happen. I mean, they had their entire Switch Online marketplace stuff, and that seems pretty good. It's like part of the subscription, and you just play those games, and they're just downloadable or whatever. Um, so that's probably the only way they can, combat that, and that's probably the future. Man, they're probably going to go really hard on that because they're going to want people to use the subscriptions to play their games and not, just download them on the internet. Yeah, we'll find out more about the Switch 2 later on in April. So check on back whenever episode number that is, because I'll definitely talk about that when they feature more. They'll probably go more in depth on how different the system is versus the Switch, obviously, and then we'll find out how it really compares to the more modern stuff, PS5, like 4 specifically, and then the current Xbox stuff, the Series X. But I don't really think it's gonna be all that special. It's probably gonna be the same in terms of how it runs. It's not going to be really pushing it. We'll definitely probably see like more shiny Nintendo games. And for just more news before we get into what I've been up to, is they announced the Dragon Ball Sparking Zero DLC one characters. We're getting pretty much the characters from Superhero, which is pretty awesome. Now it comes out today. I haven't had a chance to play it yet, so I will eventually. I'm most excited to play as Orange Piccolo and the Gamma twins. I think they were pretty cool. So it's definitely going to be pretty exciting to go back and experience Sparking Zero again later today. And they put out the first look of the Until Dawn like TV show or whatever it is, and I just think that's gross. But I'll definitely watch it. I think it's gonna be fun for the podcast. And Marvel Rivals devs put out the like kind of uh what was it, like the schedule, the release schedule for how they're going to put out heroes, and it's basically like every month and a half with their seasons, which is awesome. I don't know if I mentioned that last episode, but I think that's pretty cool because that means that they're going to get a pretty decent update schedule, but also they're going to have new content, like playable character content, which is cool. I don't care much about the skins, but I hope that the characters, play well and they're enjoyable. And I would really hope for just more synergies. I think there's more synergies should be added, or something with that, because I not that I think it's lacking, but I think that some characters, could get some really cool buffs just from other characters in some really fun, wacky ways, or something crazy. I don't know. They should definitely update it in that way. But I think there's something else that Marvel has coming out. The Marvel Captain America 4 movie coming out. That might be March. I'm only watching that because of Red Hulk. I saw a trailer recently. And then Daredevil. Daredevil as the Punisher, which is awesome. They put the trailer out for that, so that's going to be really sick. And then they, so PlayStation, canceled two games from their studios, one from Blue Point, one from the people that made Days Gone, and their live service games, which is crazy, considering that Sony, did put out Concord and they still canceling these games. Like, why are they making that? And one of them is from the God of War uh, team. It's supposed to be like a God of War live service game. I think that's crazy. Truly, truly crazy. That's basically it for like gaming news. It's still January, so now like things are trickling in. It's very surprising that Nintendo put out their Switch 2 announcement here. I kind of thought they would wait until April, May kind of time when they do their usual their Treehouse or their direct stuff. That's usually when they do it. And yeah, I've been playing Marvel Rivals. I've been trying out Magic and Moon Knight, trying to complete the season one stuff with the vampires and all that stuff. So it's been pretty fun. I'm really loving Mr. Fantastic. He's my go-to, trying to use him in ranked to really climb up. And then I got some more time in the Black with Wukong. We got to the Stone Monkey, right? So we went back to the game, completed the part where our save got deleted. We beat the rhino and the deer, and then we finally did the cricket. And then what was the other one? I think I'm blanking on the other one. But then right now I'm trying to fight the mantis thing that's inside the pig dude. Oh, dude, that's hard. It's it's a little difficult right now. But we'll get there because you can't use the immobilize on him. So it's just I'm having a difficult time because I can't use immobilize. But I did get time to play Monster Hunter Rise, and I delved in pretty deep into this game, maybe about 20, 25 hours, and I got to whatever the blue quests are because they're starred. So like they're the blue, I guess they're the story quests. I got to star 5. I think they're like 7 when you start the DLC. That's Sunbreak. I haven't gotten to there yet, but because they're on stars, whatever there are 5, um, the cutscenes, like sorry, the credits played, the end credits. So like that's like I guess the main story is over, and now we're in like the post kind of stuff, the end game, and then soon we'll be doing the DLC, which is awesome. So I've been enjoying this game a hell of a lot. It's very simple. I really like the switching weapon stuff like just on and off. I don't remember how much of that was in Monster Hunter World 'cause I really didn't play much of Monster Hunter World in my initial time with it. I only played like 2 or 3 hours. I didn't really like it, but riding the dog and being able to just actually like hunt for the like the monsters. Because in the world, I didn't like that you just used like the fireflies and they led you to the creature. I really didn't like that. That wasn't my favorite thing. But here you just they're all on the map. I don't really dislike that, but I do like that the creatures like you see where their path is going to go, if they're going to leave the area, so you can kind of plan out what might happen. I really enjoy that. But in Monster Hunter Rise, you get like two little AI companions. One's a dog that you can ride, and then you get a cat, and you can name them and stuff, and they help you in battle, which is awesome. But it also has like multiplayer and stuff. I haven't gotten a chance to experience the multiplayer stuff. That might be pretty fun. So eventually in the future, we're gonna try and do that. But I'm mostly gonna try and do the Sunbreak DLC and Black Myth Wukong this week, and then who knows what I'm gonna play next. I might go back into World. Iceborne is not on sale right now. I don't own Ice World or Iceborne, I don't think. Monster Hunter Wilds does come out, so instead of playing World, I might just buy Wilds and play that with my friends when that comes out. That might be pretty fun. I really haven't seen anything on Monster Hunter Wilds just because I want to be surprised if I do end up getting it. So I imagine it's gonna be the same with most of the other Monster Hunters for the most part. But I'm definitely enjoying my time with it. It's definitely been very fun and enjoyable. So Monster Hunter is definitely, the first game series that I'm blasting through this year. So we're not doing all the games, but it's definitely fun to experience them for what they are. And Civ 7 comes out, so it's probably just going to be Civ 7 and Monster Hunter Wilds in the near future in terms of games. So that's basically really it. And then obviously Marvel Rivals, but whatever the season content they come out with. And yeah, that's basically about it for video games. Like I said, that we're in the time period where we're going to get some trickle of video game announcements, but really once it's like March to June, that's when things really ramp up, start really kicking in. That's my favorite time. It's going to be the best. That's like the E3 time frame. I think there's even like a summer San Diego Con and stuff like that, like a Comic Con, right? And then that's basically it for video games. And so really haven't read any books lately, so I've been reading the Karma Sutra. We have a special nice episode coming up, so I just want to, talk about something really, really fun and intriguing for something like that. I think it'd be really fun. But we'll really get more into that later on in the episode. For the podcast, it feels like that we're still in the age of manga because I've been reading a whole bunch of manga for the last year. We blasted through so many, and we're still reading a lot, and I don't really know when I'm going to end because whenever I get to the end of one and I choose what's going to be the last few, I find a new one that sounds really fun and really intriguing. So I really don't know what I'm going to do. Um, we've been reading Dan to Dan, so there's something with like this evil teacher going around currently, chapter 182. That's pretty crazy. And we've been reading Chainsaw Man, chapter 190. I think the Eternity Devil is going to be like uh, tricked in a way into being, you know, like let freed and then everything's fine and stuff. I think that's what's gonna happen. So that's pretty cool what's going on right now. They're currently like inside of the main character. It's pretty crazy if you're not caught up on Chainsaw Man. And One Piece is still going strong because, I think Shanks is on the island. We didn't really get to see his face, but I think he's here. And then he's gonna free Loki. That's crazy. So like I've always thought Shanks was the villain. He definitely is. And then something about the Holy Knight, right? That's what he's with. I saw some picture being like, oh, these like some villains or stuff. So I don't really know what's gonna happen with them. But One Piece 1136, wild, super crazy. So I've been trying to also read up on manga just that I haven't read up in a little bit. Zatspell, we didn't read for like 2 months or so, but Manga Dex is down, which is sad. But other than that, I read Baki the Grappler. We're not done with it by any means, but I'm in a really good spot where I'm gonna definitely keep reading, but it's kind of like the initial D situation where like it's not the same kind of momentum that I enjoy, but I'm loving it. It's weird. It's weird in the same way that like manga has like that different kind of funny than like Western funny stuff. Like Japanese humor is very different than our humor, but the fights are very intriguing. They're very like methodical with how they're treated so far, and it makes me excited to see what the future holds. But I definitely think I'll keep reading it for now. It's just that I don't know when the because like there's so many of them. There's so much of Baki that I think I'm just gonna read Baki the Grappler and see how I feel with it. And if I feel like I'm, you know, interested enough, I'll definitely try and do the spin-offs. Like I said I would, but there's a lot, and there's the chapters of just Baki the Grappler alone. Um, and like I said, I found more manga that I want to read in the future. There's Mashal, and I found one called Blame, which seems really fun. Blame is like a sci-fi one, and I don't get to read any sci-fi specific centered manga, so that's definitely for me. Um, so manga is definitely something that I'm very interested in so far, but I don't know what I'm going to do for the future because I definitely want to try and read more books here for the podcast. But manga's been so fun, and I have a full-time job. I don't know when I could do a whole lot of this stuff. But I did get to keep up on the Dragon Ball Daima TV show. So we got episode 14, and they're about 30 minutes long. It definitely feels like we're now getting towards the final act, like the third final act of the show. Things are ramping up. The villains know the heroes are here, and we got something about the gender main force members. This is probably like the Ginyu Force that they're gonna probably fight, which is gonna be pretty crazy seeing these guys fight. And I feel like the new Majin characters they might become good guys. It just kind of has that vibe. I don't really know. I always wanted to see them fight the other characters, but who really knows? And the demon worlds are open, and we're getting a whole lot of crazy stuff. Basically, Namekians, we're getting a whole bunch of demons, immigrants pouring into the world, and the other Namekians left. That's basically it. That's basically the Namekian backstory that they have going for Dragon Ball Daima. And yeah, other than that, I'm excited to see where the ending of the show goes. Because then it's like, how does this show end compared to Super? And like what does that mean for Super going forward and all that kind of stuff. I think that's really intriguing to me, which basically is the only reason I'm like so intrigued to watch it, besides just being Dragon Ball show, because I think it's like kind of okay. I was kind of expecting a little bit more than what we got here, but it is what it is. It's definitely something that's fun and intriguing. And yeah, I basically think that's it for the podcast. Next episode is a very nice one. And then we're on to our 70th episode after that, which is crazy. And then 30 more episodes from there, it's 100. So who can really say what the future holds? Because I want to, get a Switch 2 and a Steam Deck, in my hand sometime in the future and do a whole bunch of stuff with that, which might be pretty fun. So, you all stay safe out there, and I will talk to you next Monday. See you later.